Good morning, friends. I'm so glad you're joining me today to hear God's Word. I can't believe that it's been almost 6 weeks since we've been together and been able to sit around our circle together and hear God's Word as a community. Even though I'm missing you, I'm glad we can still hear God's Word together. Let's get our bodies ready to hear God's Word, and our hearts ready to hear God's Word, and our minds ready to hear God's Word by singing our Be Still song. Are you ready? Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Let's hear the word of the Lord. Today, our story comes from the book of Luke. And Luke is one of the books in the New Testament that tells us about the life and the ministry of Jesus. Today, we are in chapter 24. And we start right here with these yellow letters, and it finishes this page, and it's all of this next page. Today we start with the purple color. If you were joining me in the circle right now, I bet I could hear you reminding us that this color is a fancy color, and the purple reminds us of kings and of queens, and that Jesus is our king. And the purple helps us remember that we're talking about the mystery of Jesus. And the last few weeks, we've been on a journey. And today we are continuing our journey, so we have our road with us today. We have been on a journey to the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the important city in the Bible where Jesus was traveling for the Passover meal right before his death. And in last week's story, we met Jesus as he was in Jerusalem. And while he was in Jerusalem, he died on the cross. And 3 days later after he died, Mary and some other women went to the tomb to prepare his body. And when they got there, what did they find? That's right. The stone had been rolled away and the tomb was empty. Jesus was not there. And an angel appeared to Mary and told her, he said, Mary, why are you looking for the living among the dead? Jesus is not here. He has risen. And Mary had gone back to tell the disciples that Jesus was alive. And in today's story, they're still learning what that means. And in today's story, we are traveling to a small town called Emmaus. And Emmaus was about 7 miles from the city of Jerusalem. And so they had to walk this whole journey. In today's story, we meet 2 of Jesus' followers. And Jesus' followers are traveling to Emmaus after Jesus has died. And they've probably heard that they think Jesus is alive. But they don't for sure understand what that means because people don't normally come back to life. So these 2 friends are walking to Emmaus. And as they're on their journey, a man joins them. And this man is special because this man is actually Jesus. My Bible tells us that as they talked about everything that happened, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them, but God kept them from recognizing him. So as they were walking and they're walking with Jesus, Jesus notices their faces, and their faces look sad and maybe confused and maybe frustrated. Can you show me what a face like that might look like, a sad face? And when Jesus sees their faces, he asks the question, he says, "What's wrong? Why are you so sad?" And the followers of Jesus, they told him, they said, "Oh, you must not have been in Jerusalem this week to see what happened. There was a man named Jesus who we thought was our king and was going to save us from everything. And he performed miracles and he taught lessons. But he died. He was given to the soldiers and they killed him. And we're sad about that. That's not what we were expecting to happen." They also told Jesus as they were walking, but remember, they don't know it's Jesus yet. As they're walking, they told him, they said, "Well, on the 3rd day, Mary, a woman, went to the tomb. And when they got there, he wasn't there anymore. His body was gone. And we were told that he's alive, but maybe they don't understand yet." And as they continue on their journey, my Bible tells me that Jesus begins to teach these men. He teaches them about the prophets and about the Bible and about everything that it says. My Bible says he explained it all to them. And as they approached the city of Emmaus, Jesus pretended that he needed to keep walking. He wasn't stopping at Emmaus, and he started to separate from them. But the followers of Jesus said, "Wait, come eat with us. Don't leave us yet. Come keep talking to us. Join us at our table." And so Jesus did. Jesus joined these men at the table. And as they were talking and they were eating, they had some bread, like they probably did at a lot of meals. And Jesus took the bread and he broke it. Does that remind you of a story we've heard recently? Yeah, the Last Supper, Jesus broke the bread. And my Bible says when Jesus broke the bread, the people at the table immediately recognized him. And after they recognized him, my Bible said that Jesus disappeared. These two followers of Jesus, as soon as they recognized Jesus and they saw it was him, they asked each other, they said, "Wait, how did we not know this? He was teaching us. Did we not feel it in our hearts like all the times before he was teaching us?" But the next thing they did is they left their meal. They said, "We have to go tell all the other disciples." They left their meal and they immediately walked back the 7 miles to Jerusalem. They came all the way back to tell the disciples, and they found the 11 of them. Can you help me count them? Make sure we have them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Good, they're all here. And when they got back, my Bible tells me that these followers of Jesus told the 11 disciples what had happened. They told them about their walking and what Jesus taught them. And when they were at the meal, how they recognized him, but then he disappeared. And they said these important words. They told the disciples, they said, "It is true. Jesus is alive. He is risen. What we've heard is true." And I bet as they were saying these words, they had big smiles on their faces and were so excited that their friend was alive. There is more to this story, but we're going to leave it here today as we continue to journey with Jesus. But I want to save the rest of the story for next week. I wonder, what is the most important part of this story to you? What part of this story do you want to remember? I wonder what these followers of Jesus felt when they recognized Jesus. I wonder what kind of questions they might have asked the man that was Jesus as they were walking with him. I wonder what kind of questions we would ask Jesus if we got to walk the road with him. I wonder how the disciples felt when they heard those important words that Jesus is alive. Do you think they felt it in their hearts? Do you think they had smiles on their faces? And I wonder if we saw Jesus today, would we be able to recognize him? Friends, thanks for joining me in hearing God's word. I love you and I miss you. Remember, love God with your whole heart this week.